Archer. Thanks for joining us on the Dave Network.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Now, firstly, how's life been since retiring from AFL football, Glenn? What are you up to these days?
It's been good. Been busy. Obviously finished footy, and you've got to go into the real world. So got involved in about 3 or 4 different businesses, and I've got 4 kids as well to chase around on the weekends, and obviously still love the Kangaroos, so get to get down there and support them when I can as well.
Great, good stuff. And tell us a bit about this Ultimate Sports Tours.
Yeah, well, that was sort of born after I finished playing football. I've always been a big traveller, and when I finished, I wanted to get to all the big sporting events around the world, because obviously when you're playing, you can't get to them events. Yeah, and just created a business out of it, because I knew there's a big market for it. So we do the big sporting events, the Super Bowl, Monaco Grand Prix, US Masters, and we do it sort of top end. So they're quite expensive. They're not for everyone. But like with the Monaco Grand Prix, we have a private dinner with Mark Webber and on a big 150-foot yacht in the harbour. So we try and do it at a real sort of pitch to the real top end, because no one else was really doing it.
And now with the Army Challenge as well, being an ambassador, tell us a bit about that and what's involved with the Army Challenge.
Yeah, I've been an ambassador for the Army Challenge Award for the last 4 years. So the first 2 years we concentrated on AFL players, and the last 2 years we've gone back to grassroots sports. So just basically a way to support your local football club. So you get onto a website, which I might be coming up on the screen.
Yeah, it will come up now.
Has to now. defencejobs.gov.au/Army Award. You register your details on there, and then you register the club that you want to support, and you basically play animated games. So they've broken it down to 4 quarters this year. So there was a kicking game, handball game, a specky mark game, and at the end of each one of them quarters, the club in each state that's got the most points, they win $1,000 to their footy club, and they can win individual awards like footballs and whatnot. Then they go into a big draw at the end of the year, and they can win $4,000 for their club as well.
Fantastic. And I believe it's split into 2 categories as well, one for players and one for clubs. Is that right?
Yeah. So they obviously got the club award, which I've just explained, and then there's an individual players award, which is voted by the club coach. Basically, after each game, he'll nominate someone that showed some courage, initiative, or teamwork, the values that the armies use. And then them kids actually go in each state go into a draw at the end of the year as well, and then they can win 3 days with me up in Canberra, having an army experience. So basically giving them a flogging.
Now you said that there was a shift from having an AFL award and moving to grassroots. Why has the Army chosen to do that?
Well, I think they explored the AFL area, and it was successful for them. But then they really wanted to get back to grassroots. Obviously, the grassroots football clubs are the lifeblood of the AFL and the lifeblood of our society in a way. If you didn't have local football clubs, where would some of the the adventurous kids go? Exactly. So that is sort of a niche there to help support the local footy clubs, which in turn supports the AFL.
Now, during your time, you're considered one of the most courageous players of all time. What's the most courageous thing that you've seen on the footy field?
I've seen a couple. Obviously, the recent one was Jonathan Brown running back with the flight of the ball and getting his head caved in.
Yeah.
But probably the most courageous thing I've seen would have been by my business partner, actually, who's in Ultimate Sports Tours, Lee Colbert. He actually got a knee in the stomach in one game, and it lacerated his pancreas.
Oh, okay.
And for those who don't know, your pancreas is right at the back of your stomach. So to open him up, take out all his vital organs, sew that pancreas up, put all the organs back in, sew him up, and then he played about 8 weeks later. And I remember speaking to him before the game, saying, take it easy if you get another knock there. Yeah. It's life-threatening.
Absolutely.
And the first time he went for the ball got kicked over his head. He ran back the flight of the ball like that. The pack came, just missed him, and I remember looking down the field and thinking, that is the most courageous thing I've ever seen. Because subconsciously, if you've got a bad injury, you try and avoid getting that hit.
Oh, absolutely.
But he just went straight back into the pack, and He's either crazy or very very courageous.
If the Army Award was back then, would he have got it?
Oh, he would have won it hands down in my view.
Who would be your toughest opponent that you've played on during your AFL career?
Played on a lot. Played on all the superstars of the game through the 90s and the 2000s. But if I had to narrow it down, I want to be probably Tony Modra.
Yep.
Played on Tony at the height of his powers in the mid 90s. Kicked 10 goals on me one night and took mark of the year just to rub it in.
I was about to say, yeah.
And when he was going, he was an amazing footballer. He actually kicked 10 goals on me this night, and I was absolutely shattered. And then the next week he kicked 13 on Steve Silvani.
Oh,
So I thought,
not bad.
maybe I'm not too bad after all.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you mentioned grassroots football and how important it is to be involved with it. Do you put on the boots yourself sometime and get out there?
I do. Yeah, this is my 4th year out of the game, and I've played at least one game every year. I'm actually playing a game this Sunday.
Oh, really? Yeah.
For a Super Rules, the old man's game, over 35s. So
Okay.
playing with a couple of mates down at Diamond Valley. And I love getting back to grassroots footy. I reckon I've played for about 6 different clubs since I finished, just some one-off games. And it's a great change to what I did for 16 years. Obviously the AFL, you're right in the hurly-burly of it, and it's your livelihood, and there's a lot of scrutiny on you. But go back to local football, it's more fun than anything.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Now, North Melbourne, do you get to go down to much of the games? Like now, seeing that you've retired as such, are you heavily involved with the club?
Yeah, I've got a small ambassador role with the club, so and that basically consists of they ask me to do something and I do it.
Okay, yeah.
But I'll probably get to about 6 or 7 games during the year. I've got the 4 kids and they all love the footy.
North Melbourne fans as well?
They've got no choice.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love to take them along to the games when we've got time, because they all play grassroots sports. So when we can fit it in, we get to as many games as we can.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And North, the way they're travelling at the moment, will they play finals?
It's going to be tough. I doubt it. They played Hawthorn last week. They had to win that game to be a chance. Now they're 6 points out of the 8. They're going to have to win their last 3 games. And Essendon and Fremantle, they're going to have to probably lose the 3 games. So I can't see it happening, but I'm pretty happy with the way they're going. I reckon they're on the right track. Got a lot of really good young players coming through. Particularly this year, I reckon you've seen, and last year in a way, Bastanak and Zeeble. Obviously, Zeeble had a real breakout game against the Bulldogs, I think it was. He had 41 possessions. He's evolving into a great player. He's sort of been hampered a little bit. He's had 2 broken legs, so so that's been hard. So he's definitely turning into a really good player. Ben Cunnington has sort of been in and out of the team the last couple of years, but he just does the odd thing that suggests that he's got something special, and it just takes a bit of time. When you come into the AFL system as an 18-year-old, very rare that someone can just step up and then take the game like this, by the scruff of the neck, like a Chris Judd. So he'll take a bit of time. Kieran Harper as well, playing his first year this year. He shows some real talent. So we've got all the talent in the world, but talent can be an ugly word sometimes. Absolutely. They've got to hopefully reach their potential, and if they do, I reckon they'll be a really good team.